Every single client that has employees working in the United States is affected because the Affordable Care Act creates a penalty on employers that could be very, very significant. And the employer needs to know enough to understand whether they're potentially subject to the penalty, how they can protect themselves against it. That's a very complicated enterprise because to understand the triggers for the penalty, you have to understand the entire system of health insurance exchanges under the Affordable Care Act and how those connect back to the potential for an employer to be penalized. We also have obviously lots of clients in the healthcare sector for whom the Affordable Care Act is a very significant development. It has placed enormous pressure on what was already an existing drive to improve quality, produce better health for the community, and lower cost. The growth of healthcare costs in the United States is simply untenable for the employers who pay for the health coverage, for the insurers who pay for the health services, and for the community at large, particularly if they're worried about maintaining that coverage. We work with our clients all the time so that they understand both how to comply, but also what opportunities should they be pursuing so that they can meet this goal of controlling costs and they can be successful in the world of healthcare that's evolving in the country. Clients in their capacity as employers will have to be alert for the moment when the IRS begins the enforcement process. The rules are unbelievably complicated and were developed by government folk who hadn't really thought through or fully appreciated what the practical impact would be, particularly if you have a very large, diverse workforce. All of our clients will also need to be watching what Congress does because we know we're not done with legislation. Whatever happens in the courts, whatever happens in the election, we can be certain that Congress is going to come back in and make changes. Hopefully those changes will relieve some of these burdens, but change in and of itself is going to require some kind of reaction and some kind of adjustment to plans that have already been made and investments that have already been made. We're hopeful that the Cadillac tax, which is going to be a big burden for many of our employers, would go away, but we don't know what it might be replaced with. So we'll be evaluating those legislative changes and helping them think about those as well. We really do like to work together, and we like to talk about what we do in our work. We're intellectually curious, and so the folks who work on the Affordable Care Act are very interested in what the folks working on telemedicine are doing, and the folks who work on telemedicine are very interested in what the folks doing medical tourism are doing, and the folks who do medical tourism are very interested in what the folks who do IT and privacy are doing. And in that conversation, we all get smarter and more effective at serving the clients. Plus, we're quick to spot what the interconnections are, and the Affordable Care Act is nothing but connections. It's not a standalone statute. It's connected to all kinds of other U.S. law. And so in the course of those conversations, we're able to anticipate how these things will interact with each other and have an impact on clients.